Hello and welcome to Diecast Restos. My name is Jason and this is Lesney's Matchbox 38A Karrier Refuse Collector that I'll be tidying up today. It was introduced in 1957 and lasted until 1963. The very earliest versions of this casting came in a grey-brown shade, but by far the most popular and longest lasting is this grey-bodied type. By all accounts, the grey paint is actually pretty hard wearing, as most examples I've seen tend to not show up many scratches, though the similarity in shade to the bare metal underneath may just be pulling the wool over our eyes. This is a mint example here, and here is a Karrier Bantam to the left, on which the Refuse Collector is based. There are two problems with this casting. It's missing 99% of its decals, and it is missing its back doors. Both of these will be replaced by Reproduction parts, and I'll leave a link in the description to the source of them. There's barely any prep work that I can do prior to paint stripping, so without further ado, let's get on with it. Two Karrier Bantams were unveiled for the Matchbox series in 1957, with the Bantam 2-ton Coca-Cola truck entering at number 37. I restored the 37B version of the Coca-Cola truck some time ago, though I'm yet to restore an A version. The Karrier company was established in 1908, building motorised municipal and light commercial vehicles and trolley buses. It became part of the Roots Group in 1934, which later became part of Chrysler Europe in the 1970s when the Karrier name was dropped. The Bantam originally launched in 1933 to supplement Karrier's mechanical horse, the Cob. It was a 2 to 5 ton truck that was very commonly found fitted with aftermarket containers for waste collection. Speaking of, I'm now gluing my Reproduction backdoor piece in place. The Bantam was discontinued in the 1970s, with the final version the 1972 3-ton FB series. It had also been produced as a tractor-trailer cab. Now that back door is secure, I can primer the entire casting in Tamiya light grey surface primer. Other than their grey in varying shades and the initial muddy grey-brown colour, the 38A was finally given a silver coat towards the end of its production run. These lost the silver trim that had been applied to the grille, headlights and bumper. I'm using Tamiya TS66 to replicate a similar grey to the original, onto which I will apply some chrome to highlight the trim later on. The grey-brown castings always had metal wheels on crimped axles, and the colour change to grey apparently occurred due to the cleansing department decals not adhering and falling off. The grey versions could then be found with metal or grey plastic wheels, with crimped or rounded axle ends. The final silver castings had rounded axles and grey plastic wheels, though a rare few had silver plastic wheels fitted. Now after drawing on this chrome, I was a bit dubious, as I think it may have suited better in silver. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if the consensus is silver, I think I'll repaint the grille bumper and lights. Once I've recrimped the axles using my locking pliers, I chrome up the axle ends. I did think that the grey coat was a bit flat when compared to the images of the original casting, although with the axles re-crimped, I thought rather than remove them and give it a gloss coat, I would run with it. Anyway, now I'm applying some Reproduction cleansing service decals. You'll see once these are attached to the vehicle sides, the yellow really stands out against the grey. So after positioning with the wet end of the cotton bud, I roll out the excess moisture with the dry end. I then replicate the process with the right hand side, sped up for your convenience. Lastly, I spread on some Mr. Mark Softer solution liberally across the decal before rolling off the excess. So, here is the 38A Karrier Refuse Collector I started out with. The grey paint concealed the fine scratches it had all over its surface. Most of the silver trim remained, though the same could not be said of the decals that used to adorn the sides. Also missing was the back door piece, which must have been prized off sometime in the model's past. so I needed to source a replacement back door section as well as some fresh yellow decals. And here is how our incomplete Karrier now looks. I have to say, the first thing I noticed watching this footage back was the bright chrome coloured round axle ends. They really stand out, much like the grille, which I'm not 100% sure on. As the decals have set, the backing sheet has become more visible, which is a bit disappointing. The rear door replacement is fairly good, however, as these can sometimes be well wide of the mark. I think that the colour is a fairly safe bet compared to the before footage, just slightly darker in tone. However, it's not quite as glossy as our pre-restored truck. Anyhow, that's it from me for today. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. Do check out my Patreon to preview next week's build, and please support if you can. Also, take a look at my Instagram, which has pics of all my back catalogue of restorations. That just leaves me to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.